Hello there, and welcome. Today we're going to break down a really big idea that could completely change the way our world works. It's called the circular economy. Now, it might sound a bit complicated, but I promise you the main idea is actually wonderfully simple. So, let's dive right in.
I want to start with just one number, 90%. Just think about that for a second. That's the percentage of all the stuff we dig out of the ground, all the metals, the minerals, the fuels that we use only once, and then we just throw it away. It's an absolutely staggering amount of waste.
So how on earth did we get here? Well, it's because our entire economy is basically built like a one-way street. It has a clear beginning, a middle, and then a very sudden dead end. And you know what? This isn't some accident. It's the system we've actually designed.
Right then, to really get our heads around the solution, we first have to understand the problem. So let's take a closer look at this throwaway world we've all been living in.
This system actually has a name. It's called the linear economy. And honestly, it's as simple as it sounds. Just picture a straight line. It starts with taking resources from our planet, and it ends, quite literally, in a massive pile of rubbish.
And this straight line has three very simple steps. First, we take raw materials from the earth. Then we make things out of them. And finally, once we're done with them, we dispose of them. Take, make, dispose. It's a simple path, but an incredibly destructive one.
And the scale of that first take step, it's just immense. Every single year, we pull over 100 billion tons of materials from the planet. It's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
You see, the really crucial point here is that this whole system is designed to have an end. Products aren't made to last, they're not made to be repaired, their final destination is pretty much decided from the get-go. We are, quite literally, designing things to end up in a landfill.
But what if we could bend that line? What if instead of a dead end, we could create a continuous loop? Well, this brings us to a much more elegant and, frankly, a much smarter idea.
So here's the big idea in a nutshell. On one side, you've got the linear model, that straight line heading right for a cliff. But on the other, you have the circular model, a continuous loop where nothing of value is ever really lost. That, right there, is the fundamental difference.
So what exactly is a circular economy? Well, to put it simply, it's a system where we decide right from the very beginning that waste is not an option. Instead of throwing things away, we find clever ways to keep them in use. And we even try to give back to nature, which is what makes the whole system regenerative.
And it all boils down to three beautifully simple principles. Number one, design things from the start so that waste and pollution are never even created. Two, keep products and the material they're made of in use for as long as you possibly can. And three, do things in a way that actually helps nature to heal and thrive.
Okay, so that all sounds brilliant in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at the circle in action.
All right, principle one. This is all about being smart right from the drawing board. It means creating things that are built to last, that are easy to repair, and that can be taken apart easily so their parts can become something new. It's about planning for a product's entire life and its next life, not just its first use.
Principle 2 is all about keeping things valuable. Now, don't get me wrong, recycling is good, but in a circular economy, it's kind of the last resort. We want to prioritize things like repairing a broken item, reselling it so someone else can use it, or even completely remanufacturing it to be as good as new. This keeps all that value and all the energy used to make it in the loop for much, much longer.
And finally, we have principle 3. This one is maybe the most exciting. It's about shifting from just trying to do less bad to actually doing good. Take farming, for example. It means using methods that not only grow our food, but also rebuild the health of the soil and bring back wildlife. It's all about giving back to nature more than we take.
So let's just put them side by side for a moment. The linear model, it extracts and discards, creating huge amounts of waste. The circular model, it reuses and regenerates, designing waste out from the very start. Business models change too, from just selling you a thing once to providing it as a service or reselling it. The end result? Far less pollution and a much, much smaller carbon footprint. The difference is just night and day when you see it like this.
So it's pretty clear this is a much better system for the planet. But it turns out it's also a massive opportunity for our economy and in the end for every single one of us.
Let's talk numbers again. $4.5 trillion. That is the estimated economic value that we could unlock globally by switching to a circular economy. You see, this isn't just about being green, it's about being incredibly smart with the resources we have.
And that huge number translates into some very real benefits for all of us. We're talking about boosting the economy, creating brand new jobs in industries like repair and remanufacturing, and making our whole system much more resilient. I mean, when you don't need to constantly pull new stuff out of the ground, you're a lot safer from sudden price spikes or problems with supply chains.
And this is absolutely crucial, especially when we think about the biggest challenge we face today. Just by changing how we make and use everyday things, from our food and our homes to plastics and cars, the circular economy could help us slash global greenhouse gas emissions by up to an incredible 39%. It's a huge tool in the fight against climate change.
This image here really shows the ultimate goal. For pretty much all of modern history, whenever the economy grew, our use of resources and the damage to the environment grew right along with it. The whole point of the circular economy is to decouple those two lines, to allow us to prosper and grow, while our environmental impact actually starts to go down.
So, when you put it all together, what you have is a system that just makes sense. It's better for people, creating jobs and stronger communities. It's better for the environment by tackling waste and climate change head-on. And it's better for the economy, unlocking trillions in new value. It really is a win-win-win.
Which leaves us with one last, simple question to ponder. This whole explainer has really just been about one simple shift in how we see things. Looking at something we're finished with not as waste, but as a resource. Now, if we all started to think that way, just imagine what we could build then.